Desert Fox Game Changer here, so just scanning on an old account, so don't be alarmed if you see it on the map or anything, feel free to hit it. So just checking, 76% on your attack is very, very good, excellent. 31% is low, so we need maybe to have a little look at that. And may I say as well, if you've only deployed 6 fobs, I don't think you get in the fob attack. I'm going to send you some videos specifically on fob attack, mate, and get them starting to work, especially with the recent update in buildings like the War Factory, a helipad, and things along that line. Fobs really are where it's at now. PvP, yes, but I dare say fob attack is certainly the way forward. Okay, so here we are at Desert Fox Fillers. We need to have a little scan what an enemy would see. So the first observation you would see is your spawn zones are quite close to your base, which means I could get my M270 type attack spawn here, and straight away I could hit that War Factory. And if you check, there's going to be absolutely nothing stopping me. There's no mine, there's no turret, there's no nothing. You're completely vulnerable to attack from this side here. And then guess what? I'll then move on to your helipad. I just need to make sure that mine's not getting us. And then I'm in, and I probably could come round this peninsula here, and then I'm straight into the railgun, which, as you know, M270 will out range, and then from there I can hit your heavy cannon, and I just again have to watch out for said machine gun. So you're massively vulnerable from this side. But let's suppose in your War Factory makes it, supposing I don't attack it first. I can imagine that there's nobody that's going to be quaking their boots from getting attacked from a War Factory by a Rhino and a PK. I mean, that's like fly swat territory. It really does need to be beefed up. That you want to be all 3 tanks in there. Abrahams, Macavers ideally. I mean, you're level 49 now. You should be looking towards Macavers as the next, if not very high end. Abrahams should be in there. Have a think about what you get attacked by, when you're attacking, what you get defended by, and you know, have a little think about that. I mean, you get in there. I mean, there's things that you're looking at. I mean, these mine placements. You know, assuming I'm going to come from there, but let's be honest, I'm not going to come from there because you've got a great big howitzer there. So I'm naturally going to come from this side, out of the range of the howitzer, and that's the area you've not covered. So, you know, even if you brought that mine around to where it says scouting there, that would work better. But ultimately, you need to be having a think about turrets. I mean, look at the cover of there. Any long distance attack is obviously not going to be affected. If you look at the cover from your heavy platform, then again I'm going to outrange that, because everybody nowadays, if you're not, that's probably why you're not thinking that way. If you're not using a couple of tanks for cover and then an M270 type attack, then you know you'll really struggle in the game, because that's kind of what you need to be looking at. Okay, so supposing I've taken that side out, I then trundle round, take out your War Factory, because the machine gun's not War Factory. Take out your power plant because your machine gun's not going to cause a problem from there. I'm going to come round, and then I'm at this side, and again there's nothing really picking us up. I mean, you've got a rail gun there which you'll outrange again by an M270, and you've got a flak. I mean, flak's good. You've got a little bit of flak in there, but predominantly your sort of machine guns. Now, machine guns, I use a HIMARS in my attack, in my proper attack. You've probably seen that, it's a level 8 attack, so you won't have that yet. But a HIMARS will outrange a machine gun. What it won't outrange is salvos and peacemakers. So I would strongly suggest that you start to have a little look at thinking about HIMARS and peacemakers. Heimers and peacemakers, fuck's sake. Start looking at peacemakers and salvos in your attack, because railguns for me don't cut it, because you can completely outrange those with any sort of M270, GMLRS, and subsequently Heimers. You can outrange machine guns with those as well. I mean, I wonder if you're still, and I don't take this the wrong way, I wonder if you're still in attacking with what I used to have when I was back in the day before all these new turrets come out. So my best attack I had was probably Humvees and using the tank and then send the Humvees in. But so much has changed since those days that you really need to obviously up your game with attack. So things to watch out for then. So have a think about where your mines are. Watch your replay videos, see how you get an attack. I bet you're 10 to a piece of shit you're going to get attacked from that avenue there, and that War Factory will be the first target to go. And not only that, as I said, if it does survive, your components in there are quite weak. Have a little bit of think about what you've got in your barracks. You want to be looking at force recon. You want to be looking at snipers for additional air cover. I mean, the fact that you've only got one flak in there as well is possibly a concern. You know, you really want to be looking at least 2 flak at your current level. You probably want Avengers in your air as well. You've obviously got Reapers. Reapers are quite easy to take out with any type of machine gun or any sort of vehicle that has that sort of anti-air, like the Red Eye and things like that you get on M270s at level 8 and above. Just have a little think about that. And the next thing I want you to have a little think about is where people will want to spawn from. Now, because all your buildings are so close together here, then what happens is that forces that spawn zone really close on. If you space those out 1.5 to 2 squares, maybe up to 2.5 squares you can get away with, then what you'll do is you'll push that spawn zone really far out. So if you look at those 3 buildings in a row there, you could probably skip that middle building, and if those 2 oil storage weren't any more than 2.5 squares apart, that would still register as a non-spawn zone. If it's 3 squares apart, then yes, you'll have a slither in the middle that people can launch from, the sliver being that little gap there, if you, for example. Remember, mines don't stop slithers, so you can still end up with a hole that people can spawn in. So get all these buildings pushed back. I'd strongly suggest that the airfield doesn't necessarily need to be in the wall. The helicopter potentially doesn't necessarily need to be in the wall, but I can understand why you might want it to do so. And the command centre doesn't need to be in the wall. So get the buildings out of the walls that you don't need to. Bring the walls in so they're a bit tighter and a bit smaller, and then that should give you better cover for your turrets. And then I want these turrets upgrading to salvos. Have a look at the Peacemaker. I mean, the fact that you've got level 5 turrets, with the exception of one there, that's a level 2. So I mean, level 2 turrets got to be tucked in seconds. You really do need to make it more difficult for the people that are attacking. So to summarise, don't take it the wrong way. I'm here to help you. I've been doing this quite a long time, so I'll naturally have things that you want spotted, and that's what I'm going to do. So I want that War Factory protected. Bring that mine probably to where scouting is. That'll give you 3 mines. Have a think, if you were attacking with M270s, where would those mines need to be? Because that's the minimum you want to be protecting yourself against. Salvos, Peacemakers, better mine placement, push the spawn zones out, and I want to see some really meaty fuck off defence inside this War Factory. Really need to be asking yourself the question, if I was attacking your base, or you were attacking your base, probably more importantly, what would bother you? What would cause you an issue? And if you think the PK is going to cause you an issue and the Rhino is going to cause you an issue, we've got bigger fish to fry and worry about. I think, when you kind of ask yourself that question and think like an attacker, then you'll realise, what, there's things I can do better here. So, been a bit harsh, bit critical, but that's what I'm here for. I'm going to get you fucking strong, mate. I'm going to add, I'm promising you, I'm going to add another 10% onto your defence stats by the time we're finished. Okay, bro, cheers.